Hey guys, and welcome back to my little bullet journal mini-series. Again, if you are unaware of what a bullet journal is, it's a journaling and organization system created by Ryder Carroll, and you can learn more about it at bulletjournal.com. You can also check out my first video in this little series, and it will be linked below. So in my last video, I explained what the bullet journal is, and I did a flip through of my very first bullet journal, this one, in an effort to show you that it is entirely okay to be a total hot mess in your journal. The first journal was a softcover A5 dot grid Moleskine, and it covered the summer of 2016 and January of 2017 after I took a break and decided to give bullet journaling another try. Now we're moving on to this sucker. As you can probably tell by looking at it, this is a lot thicker than the previous book, and it's because this is when I got heavy into bullet journaling. This journal actually only covers February through August of 2017, and it is crazy thick, as you saw. Now, partly that's because there's something like 249 pages in this book, which I think is about twice as many, if not more so, than the number of pages in the Moleskine. But it's also because I used the heck out of this book. So this particular journal is the Leuchtturm 1917, which is the go-to journal of the bullet journal community. Like the Moleskine I used previously, it is in the A5 size and has a dot grid layout, although they do have other layouts available as well. Unlike the Moleskine, the Leuchtturm has a hard cover. It has heavier weight paper for less bleeding and ghosting. Like I said, way more pages than the Moleskine. It's got 2 bookmarks instead of 1, and an even harder name to say than Moleskine. It also has a pre-printed index section and pre-printed page numbers, and it lays flat, which the Moleskine did not. So these all ended up being wonderful additions for me, and I much prefer the Leuchtturm to the Moleskine. So getting into this one, again, I put nothing on the contact page. I keep my journal at home, for the record. A lot of people carry it with them, but I don't, which is why I just never feel the need to fill this part in. Here we have the index, which I decorated over time with stickers and washi tape. The entries that are in gray here are pages that are in the back of the book, like pen swatches and layout references and things like that. It's stuff that's helpful for using my journal, but it's not part of the meat of the journal, if that makes any sense. So there's some more index there. This is my failed year in pixels page. This is another very popular idea. It's a daily mood tracker for the entire year, and the finished ones do look really, really cool. But as you can see here, I gave up on it by early July. And I actually started this in my Moleskine, and then I ripped it out and taped it into this journal. But then, like I said, I wasn't able to get it finished. This is my revamped The Last Time I collection, although it kind of seems like I gave up on this as well. Although it is really helpful, I'm not sure why I gave up on it. My very pathetic books to read collection. I used Goodreads for this, so it's kind of a silly idea to put in my journal. But on the upside, I finally received this book in the mail today, so I'm finally going to get a chance to read it. This is my completely empty Rent This Year spread. This is my revamped and even longer movies and shows to watch spread. This is my Watch This Year collection, complete with ratings and comments. I like doing this, but eventually I would just forget to add to it when I watch something. My revamped Stuff I Want / Need to Buy collection. This was a long apartment cleaning spread that just didn't really work for me, so I only used it a little bit. The paperclip section is a digital cleaning spread that I made up to help me clean up and organize my computer and then never used. And I don't know, I feel weird showing people information about what's on my computer, so you don't get to see that. Here we have my washi collage page. I don't remember where I saw this idea, it was probably Instagram. But it's just a cool way to collect all the bits and pieces of washi that you end up after you cut off what you needed and trimmed it and stuff. And I have one of these in my current journal too. This is my February cover page. I attempted to use this random desk calendar that I got from my employer instead of having to draw a calendar out, but it didn't really work the way I wanted it to. Again, we have the not so consistent and took up too much room goal tracking. Now this is a layout that I have stuck to pretty consistently since February. I have to give a shout out to Kara from Bohoberry for this spread. This is how she was organizing her gratitude log for quite a while, and it ended up working perfectly for me. In my case, I write down 3 good things about each day, because I find if I only write down 1 good thing, it's easier to cop out on a really crappy day and just write down didn't die or something. But if I write down 3, that forces me to really look back on the day and find the positive things no matter what. So I really liked how this layout worked out for that. This is me still trying to figure out how to do dailies. More here. Still wasn't happy with the layout. I made this currently watching, listening to, reading, thinking about spread, and I do like it, but I've never made one again, so there's that. This was my first attempt at a Dutch door layout, which is when you fold one page in half so you can access what's on that page regardless of what side of a 2-page spread you're on. There's other ways to do it, but this is how I tried it. So for instance, when I was working on this page, I had it folded over this way so I could access my to-do list on this side. And then once I moved over here to this side of the 2-page spread, I could still access the to-do list along with a goofy quote and smiley face. And then I was also able to expand the to-do list to this side when I needed to. These are 2 collections that I am actually pretty proud of. This one's just a list of collection ideas, and I think it turned out adorable because adorable Pokemon, and I like how the lettering turned out. And this one was to track my progress on the 52 weeks savings challenge. Typically the challenge starts with putting $1 into your savings the first week of the year, then $2 the second week, $3 the third week, etc., all the way up to $52 in the last week of the year. I actually chose to do the challenge in reverse because I really needed to save some money. I did eventually give up on it, though I can't remember why, and I think I stopped tracking it before I actually stopped doing the challenge. I do like how the collection turned out, though. This is my first and failed attempt at tracking my time. I started halfway through the month and lasted all 4 days. I also attempted to analyze it on this side, but holy crap, that was boring and not particularly useful, so I never did it again. This was another attempt at dailies, although in this case I think this is referred to as a rolling week. I'm not really sure what it's called, but basically instead of designating a certain amount of space per page or per day on the page, I just wrote down the days as I needed to record stuff, and that way the to-dos or whatever would still be there. And I also put the prompts for some of the challenges I was following up here so they'd be right there where I could see them. This is more of the same but less embellished. I actually succeeded at time tracking here. I guess this is the reason that I gave up on the other layout, was this is easier to read. More daily stuff, experimenting with layouts and embellishing and whatnot. It's the rest of my good things list because I didn't give myself enough space for the whole month. This is the first of several no-spend trackers after I bought a ton of stickers and pens and stuff for journaling. And come to think of it, I should probably make another one of these. And then here I just reflected back on things that worked and didn't work for me in the journal over the course of February. Again, I think I got this idea from Bohoberry. Here we have another crappy cover page for March. This is my ways I have my shit together layout, which I just realized I lettered in a very don't dead open inside fashion. And if you're a Walking Dead fan, you will understand what I mean by that. Anyways, I found this idea on either Instagram or Facebook, and it was a good idea in theory, but it was a bad idea in practice, at least for me. Basically, it was supposed to help me remember that I'm not doing as badly at life as I think I am. So I started filling this out and then just never finished it. This cleaning bingo spread was another idea poached from the internet. It was supposed to be a motivational thing where once I fill out a certain number of boxes, I get a certain reward. I think this is another one of those things where I stopped tracking before I stopped doing the tasks. Here I printed out the March prompts for the Rock Your Handwriting and Plan With Me challenges. I will link to both of them below. I started highlighting the prompts as I actually did them and posted them to Instagram, but as you can see, I fell off that quite a bit. These were the prompts for the March Photo a Day challenge. This is an Instagram photo challenge hosted by Fat Mom Slim. I will link to it below. Now this is a layout that I'm actually pretty proud of. I decided to write out all the hashtags that I needed for my photos on Instagram because there are a lot to remember, especially when it comes to bullet journal related tags. So I tried to do it in the color scheme of the Instagram logo, and I traced the Instagram font on a piece of printer paper over my tablet and then cut it out and slapped it in here. And then I used coordinating washi tape as well to fill some space. And I'm still really proud of this one, actually. Here we have the 3 good things today for March. We have my March time log. And this is where I fell off the time tracking wagon because I got sidelined by pneumonia for 2 weeks. This is my second attempt at a Dutch door layout. This time I attempted to use the door for my habit tracking. So it started on this side, and then it eventually moved over to this side. This is the end of my March good things list because, again, I didn't give myself enough space. And then down here is sort of a future log / calendar thing for the rest of March. I have some full month spreads in this style coming up that I'll talk about more in a bit. Over here I decided to do a no spend on fast food. I believe it was because I got me into a habit of hitting up Subway or McDonald's like every time I was out doing errands. It was just getting ridiculous. So I did that for about a month. This is my giveaway tracker because I was obsessed with entering Instagram giveaways, and it started getting hard keeping up with what I had entered, but I've actually even won a few. Now these are my full month future log things. The future log is another aspect of the original bullet journal system, and to be fair, I'm not sure if I did this the right way, but whatever. I'd realized that the spring and summer months were getting a little busy for me, so I should probably start marking things down in advance. This layout was inspired by, and I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, Burdum Lakalim on Instagram. I will link to her post below. So I did a future log for April, May, June, and July, just so I could keep track of what was going on when. And there's a little bit of private journaling there that's clipped together. This was a package tracking spread that I clearly never kept up with, probably because I was doing a no spend at the time and then just never came back to it. There's March reflections, and then my first attempt at an artsy-ish cover page for April. 3 good things a day. This time I did actually give me enough space for the whole month. This was my first attempt at doing a method of tracking that I still do now, which is the month in pixels. I can't remember if I thought of this idea or I saw someone else do it first. Either way, it's not that original. It's just taking the concept of the year in pixels spread and shrinking it down to cover a single month. In my case, I decided to use it as a mood tracker and a habit and goal tracker. I gave myself 3 options and colors for each part of the chart, essentially playing off of the good, neutral, and bad idea here. And then the 4th lightest color was just to fill in the days where the habit or the goal in question didn't apply. So for instance, no snacks before bed was only something I really cared about on work nights. So on non-work nights, that category fell under not applicable. So then I use that same light color to fill in those, and then also these empty spaces where there's no numbers, so that there wouldn't be any white spots at the end of the month, and you more clearly see how well things or how badly things went as far as tracking. I really like how these turn out by the time the month is done, so it's something I've tried to keep up with. Here we have some more challenge prompts. As you can see, I unfortunately never touch them. This was my packing list for a trip I was taking up to cottage country with a friend. And this is some journaling I did about the trip as it happened. Another attempt at a daily, weekly, whatever you want to call it, layout. I tried making a little sidebar where I could list important things to remember. I'm considering going back to something like this, actually. This was when I attempted to do the 100 Days project, which is a project where you essentially make 100 things in 100 days. In my case, I decided to try to work on my hand lettering, and I decided to make it Walking Dead themed. Unfortunately, as you can see, I didn't even come up with 100 prompts, so obviously I didn't finish the project, but I did give it a try, and I did enjoy it while I was doing it, so that's something. So then here we have the various quotes and character names and such in various fonts that I copied off the internet. This was my attempt at tracking my time on the weekends in April, because I discovered that tracking my time during the week was kind of useless. My days didn't vary much while I was working, so I was just filling in the same stuff 5 days a week, and it was kind of pointless. So I decided to only try tracking on weekends, and well, you can see how far I got with that. So I decided to decorate all that white space with stickers and such. There's never too late to reset your life after you fail at using your time log. As you can see, there is a lot of trial and error involved with bullet journaling, and you just have to be okay with that. This was my weight loss tracker where I attempted to track my measurements as well as my weight. I eventually gave up on that though because the measurement part is really hard to do when you're by yourself. This spread is a combination of planning and memory keeping. I'd gone into downtown Toronto to go to Record Store Day, and originally I was planning to go to the Science March, which was also that day downtown, but by the time I'd finished up with Record Store Day, I'd missed the march. And then I also planned to do some Bujo related shopping while I was down there, which I did. So afterwards, this was all the planning on the papers, and then afterwards I taped in my transit day pass from the day and the business card of the Paper Place, which is an amazing store. You definitely need to check it out if you're ever in downtown Toronto. I will link at their website below. I've only ever been there the one time, unfortunately, but I definitely need to go back in the spring. And both of these washi tapes that I used to tape these in were also bought at the Paper Place. Here we have a job search tracker that I evidently never used, probably because I was still working full-time then, and looking for work when you're already working full-time, don't have sucker vacation days, and don't drive is really hard. And then in this paper clip we have a ton of private journaling because some stuff went down. Here I attempted to do some Zentangles. I'm not 100% sure if I did them right, but they definitely helped me relax while I was dealing with all the stuff that went down. Some more private journaling in there. I continued my watch this year spread here, but as you can see, the novelty wore off. This is a layout that I started but never finished. I saw it online, and it's supposed to be a way to help you come up with how to best sell yourself to a potential employer, or I suppose to a current employer if you're looking for a raise or promotion or whatever. I should definitely revamp this one in my current journal since I am still currently unemployed and I completely suck at job interviews. Even doing them several in a row did not help. I still suck at them. Okay, a little more journaling in there, followed by more Walking Dead themed hand lettering. Then we have April reflections and a cover page for May that I made using some of the papers that I picked up at the Paper Place. By this point, I had evidently given up on all of the challenges except for Plan With Me, and even then I still didn't do it. There's my May in pixels. Pretty good things a day. It's a random artsy quote page. Another rolling layout where I just added to it as the week moved along. This is when I started putting a little calendar in the sidebar, which I liked. Some more journaling in there. This was me figuring out how to get to various stores, namely Dollar Tree, since up until then I had no idea we even had Dollar Tree in Canada. This is some planning for my YouTube channel and a little more Walking Dead lettering. Scripting YouTube videos in my journal before I discovered this little thing called Google Docs. A little bit of journaling in there, and then this is my spread for my Sticky Club labels. They always put a really cute sticker on the back to seal the envelope, so I wanted to collect them in here. I'm not using Sticky Club right now, but I do have a few more labels that need to go in here. This was my first attempt at a YouTube to-do list / tracker. I put a better one together in my current journal. This is just when I was planning out how I was going to lay out my sticker and ephemera binders, and I think it's so cute that I'm only talking about 2 binders here because I'm currently up to 8 3-inch binders and 2 1.5-inch binders now. This was my complete fail at a vintage-inspired June cover page. I don't know why I never finished this. I do love this paper, but yeah, I never finished it. 3 good things a day for June. June in pixels. My running to-do list thing, I seriously have no clue what to call this. This is my memory keeping layout from attending the Wine and Spirit Festival in downtown Toronto. It's a really great festival where you can try a lot of different drinks for like a really good price, and I've had a lot of fun both times that I've gone. So in here I just pasted in my transit transfers and as many flyers and business cards as I could in here, and then fill in the gaps with washi tape. This is my Canada 150 themed cover page for July. More prompts for challenges. 3 Good Things. Can you tell I've fallen into a bit of a pattern with my monthly layouts at this point? I'm still pretty much in that pattern. At the bottom of this page, I made myself a little Canada themed no spend tracker on my computer, and then over here is July in pixels. It's my weekly-ish thing. My birthday is in July, so this was my happy birthday to me spread. Just a bunch of random stickers on this side and the card my parents gave me on this side. And then more birthday stuff on this side. More good things and more no spend tracking. My August cover page, August in pixels, and 3 Good Things. The rolling week thing. And here is when I started planning for my next bullet journal. And we have a blank page here, followed by my model liner swatches. This was a layout I did of some of my favorite Etsy stores and brands that I'd used over the course of working in this journal. And there's some more planning and some brush lettering drills and a mess of planning stuff. Here I have my Crayola Super Tips and the Wrench and Pencil Crayon swatches. These kind of things are always good to have in the back of your journal for reference. Has me messing around with headers and stuff. More planning. A thinner washi collage after I ran out of room in the one at the start of the book. And then this is my pen test page. It's always on the last page of the book. And this here, and then this was my little flip out key for my time log that I made with washi tape and an index card, just so that I wouldn't have to keep writing the key down every time I did a time log. So that's it for part 2. Story about the length. The final part in this little series, although I guess there could be more in the future, should be the shortest video because that is where I'll be talking about the journal that I'm currently in the middle of, so there won't be as much to show you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one.